Good evening. It's Cindy Fodor here with Stamp the Love, and it's Make It Monday. I'm excited to be here. I shouldn't tell you, I'm playing hooky from church tonight. We have church all week. We have revival services, and I just had to get taxes done today, so I'm very behind in some things. So, playing hooky tonight, but I promise I'll go tomorrow night. All right, pop on and say hello. Let me know if you're here. I'm going to just check to make sure we are streaming okay. And it helps if I'm in the right place. Okay, it says I'm live. But where? Okay. Hopefully you're not having as much trouble finding me. All right. Okay, so first of all, I have the winner to announce from the drawing. Thank you for going over to my personal page and entering the drawing there. I think there were 28 or 30 of you. And the winner of the paper pumpkin that I shared is Ginny Clouser. So, Ginny, you'll have to get a hold of me and get me your address, or we can meet up if you're still living in the area. Now, if you didn't win, don't worry. I think I have an extra one coming, and I might just do another drawing here. So stay tuned. If it arrives, I'll post it here, and we'll do a drawing here, okay? And I will tell anybody on my personal page that they need to come here. How's that sound? All right. Hi, Betty. Hi, Charlene. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. All right. So I have a fun fold to show you tonight. And you might have seen it popping around. It's been very, very popular. However, you know how it is. When you go to make it, you got to adjust it and make it your own. So I have made it my own. Plus, I have another one to show you that I did a similar thing with, but it's a little different. So it's an Easter card, and I'm going to share that in a minute. Just want you to know that for March, don't forget, if you place an order this month of $60 or more, you get the free tutorial for March, and that was with the Storybook Friends. And it's not just one tutorial. There are 12 tutorials, and there are 12 videos. So it is a huge production that we're bringing you every single month. Hi, Donna. Hi, Ruth. Hi, Barbara. I made it at 8 o'clock. Well, maybe a second late. Got my clock straightened up this week. All right. So anyways, so don't forget, if you didn't order this month, you still have a chance. There are some fabulous things that have come out online this month. So go on and check out they're called online exclusives. If you click on that button, you'll see all the really cool things that have come out that you won't want to miss anyways. So we're doing this every single month. There will be a new one every month. Next month, it is the beautiful butterflies. And after that, we don't have anything picked yet because we have a new catalog coming out. So that will be announced later. If you're on my team, you get the free tutorial anytime that you have an order that you put in online. So, and there's no amount attached to that. So if you get Paper Pumpkin every month, then you will get that free tutorial. Okay, talked really fast. I think that's all I have for you right now. I am deep in getting ready for a retreat, which is a week and a day or 2 days away. So have a lot to do. Hi, Carol. But I also want to remind you, if you're on my team or if you would like to know what we do, we have a special event, a luncheon coming up on April 26th. We're having it at the Barn Resort, and anybody's welcome to come and be a part of our group, see what we do, and enjoy lunch with us. We'll have some make and takes. The cost is $39. It covers the meal and the entertainment. So let me know. My deadline for registering is April 2nd, so that's coming up really fast too. Hi, Peggy. All right, so you ready to get started? Let's hop over here to my other screen. And this is the card that I want to show you tonight. Like I said, it's a little different than patterns I've seen. However, just before I popped on, I was looking for something, and one of my friends posted that she redesigned it, and she did something similar to what I did, and I thought that was hilarious that we both sort of came up with the same. It wasn't exactly the same, but the whole idea was to make this part a little shorter because it didn't really need to stick out that far, and that left me. I was able to make my card wider, and I was able to make the cross a little longer because the card is 4 inches and this sticks out just a quarter, and I wanted it to be able to fit in my card, which the original did fit in the card, in the envelope. I'm sorry. But this makes it a more actual size card and fits in perfectly. Okay, thank you, Carol. All right, so let me show you how I did it, and I'll give you all the measurements as I go, or maybe I'll do that first. So I tried to just put it on each piece. So my card base is 4 by 11 because remember we needed that extra overhang room for the crossbar. This is the front piece. It's 4 3/4 by 5 1/4, and I scored it at 1 1/4, 3 1/4. Maybe I'll just let you read it since I can't talk tonight. 1 1/4, 1 3/4, 3 and 3 1/2. And I have to score that in a minute. This is the inside piece, and it's just 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. And then this piece, which I don't seem to have any measurements on, is for the front here. It's 1 inch by 5 inches. And these two pieces are the same. They're 1 inch by 5. And then we have the crossbar, and the cardstock part is 3 1/4 by 1 1/4. Sorry for the mess. And this designer piece is 3 by 1. And then I cut this with our stylish shapes dies, and I punched this with our 2-inch circle punch. And then I decided that I didn't like the white showing when it was folded down. This side here was empty. And so I decided to cut these two pieces. And I had a sticker for that, and I don't know where it got to. These are 3/8, I believe. Let me get my trusty measurer out here. Yeah, I cut these 3/8 by 5. Okay? So let's get this scored real quick, and then we will put this baby together. Once you get the measurements and the pieces cut, the easy part is left, right? Let me get this off of here. So 1 1/4. And it might be easiest if you do like 1 1/4 from each end. I'll flip it around. And then I can flip this over, and that way my score lines are going a different way because we have mountain and valley folds here. And then I need 1 3/4. And 1 3/4. So I will turn this around. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. If that's confusing, just leave all of your scores the same way and do 1 1/4, 1 3/4, 3 and 3 1/2. Okay. I thought maybe I would give you a little eye into designing something like this and getting your sizes right. So I should have brought my scrap paper in here. So what I did was I went, okay, I have a 4-inch piece. I wanted to come in 1/8 of an inch from either side. So that brings me down to 3 3/4, right? And then I knew that I wanted a 1 1/4 inch piece in here, and I wanted these two to just be a 1/2 inch. All right, and then whatever was left here, I wanted at least 1 inch, and they ended up being 1 1/4 as well. So that's how I figured it out, because if you take this 1/2 inch off, then what's going across here is exactly 3 3/4 of an inch. So let's see if that comes out right. I told you this is 4 3/4. So 3 3/4 plus the 2 1/2 inches is 4 3/4. All right. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense to you. It's not rocket science. It's just maybe a little math, and maybe not all of you love math. All right. So now I'm going to fold these. If the score line is indented, I'm going to fold away. So these 2 inside ones will get folded away. And then the 2 outside ones, there's a little hump there, so they're going to fold towards me. And then we'll just burnish those to make sure that they are this way. Make sure I get this going in the right direction. All right. It's nice when both sides are exactly the same. That makes life very easy. Okay, so there's our action piece. There's really not a lot to it. Hi, let's see, I didn't say hi to Karen, Cindy, or Sylvia. It's great to have all of you ladies on tonight. Okay, let's go ahead and I think we'll put our pieces on here first because it's a little easier to glue while this is flat. So this is our outside piece. And I'm using the Woven Textures designer paper, and I just put a new roll on here so I didn't get it started. Whoops. And it's good and sticky, obviously. If it does that, I usually like to pull that paper off just so it doesn't go back in there and make a huge mess. And let's just go the opposite direction and put it back in its place. And this is just centered from all sides. Just get rid of that sticky. I seem to always end up with something sticky on my fingers. How about you guys? All right, let's go ahead and put this one on the opposite side. I also have something fun to introduce to you tonight. It's a new product that Joel and I came up with, thanks to a suggestion from Denise Shriver. So Denise, hey, if you're watching this, I already did send a picture to her. It was her idea. So I want to give credit to her. And Joel just ran with it. It's a 3D printed, another 3D printed item. So if you're loving those. I didn't get my 4th organizer done, but it's started, and I'm hoping to have some by retreat weekend. All right, so I think we're gonna go, well, let's do these side pieces. I forgot about them because I added them afterwards. I'm gonna use green glue just because it's so narrow, and I don't aim very well when I'm using that glue. Now this isn't gonna have as big of a border, but to make it, since it's only a 1/2 inch piece, 1/4 of an inch would not have shown up very well. So I went ahead and made it 3/8, which doesn't leave quite the evenness as all of the other ones, but I think it looks okay. All right, now we're going to put glue just on this one side. And because it's movable, I'm putting a little more adhesive on there than normal. And this is not very straight, so let me straighten this. I scored it, but I didn't check to make sure that I had scored it well. I didn't do it with my Simply Scored, and I tell you what, that the Simply Scored is just the most perfect scoring tool. I usually don't mess up anything. All right, so glue that one down good. Now this one folds over, and this folds back. Just remember, this has to lay flat to meal, so we want to put it flat before we glue this down so that we know that it's flat. I like to go both ways to make sure that all the scoring lines are straight. All right, so there we go. We have the cross, or the beam, not the beam, but the tree part started. I'm going to put this piece of DSP on here. And with these woven textures. They're just all gorgeous. It's really hard to know which one to use. I am putting this on early espresso, and some of the designs have lots of layers, and you know, I am not a big let's throw an extra layer in there just for fun person, unless it really needs it for the look. All right, so that is basically the card. This will go in here. I'm gonna go ahead and stamp this part, and what I did was I'm using this set that came out in the new catalog, and I haven't used it yet because I didn't make any Easter cards, but there's more of that. There's more. There's Thinking of You. I like this, Let Your Faith Be Bigger Than Your Fears. God is Love. So I'm using the He Is Risen from that in Early Espresso. So I have that on this block. Hi, Debbie. You did make. Okay. And then in Granny Apple Green, just to add a little bit of greenery to it, I'm going to stamp this little frond that's on the stamp set. And let's put one here. And then we'll put one going this way. Just to add a bit of color to our card that's very neutral. And for my background here, I'm using Basic Beige. Now, I want dimensionals on here, but I just want them in the center because we're just sticking this part down. So I think I'll just put 2 on there. Actually, you know, I can't do just 2. If I make sure that they're completely up and down and like do it across, then I should be good, right? Because they'll follow across. I just don't like things that are supposed to be sticking up and are sagging. No reference to us women, our women problems as we get older. Okay, see if I can get this straight. All right, there we go. And then let's do, to follow through, let's just go ahead and bring this across here. Let's take this off because we sure don't want to send it like that. And then maybe I'll do the Easter greetings on the inside, since this is an Easter card. And then we can pop that in. This is so much fun. I'm really wishing that I had the other card to show you, that I had prepared to show you how to put it together, because it's maybe even cooler than this one. But I hope you like that. And how simple is that, right? It's really not that difficult. And I'm going to, actually I'm going to keep, I'm not going to be stamping, so let me put these away. All right, are you guys ready to see another one? Similar cross design, but just a little bit different. Let me get these out of the way. Oh, before I do that, I wanted to try to add a ribbon to this, and some gems. Let me go back to that. So I pulled out the Earth Tones gems because there's a nice beige in here that will go with this. So we'll use that one. And we'll stick a couple on here. It's a pretty big space, so we'll stick a few on. All right, and then let me just put that over here. I wanted to grab this ribbon, but in doing this, I want to show you what Joel designed. So you may have seen, especially you demos, you may have seen people making little paper cardboard pieces to go around here with a slit in there to hold your ribbon in place. And that's what my friend sent to me, and I had seen it, and I thought, oh, that's really cool. I want to do that. And then she said, can Joel make this? And I was like, huh, I'm sure Joel can make this. So he made a little slit in here, and I'm just gonna, this is sort of the fun part, is getting this to slide in there. One nice thing is once you do it, you don't have to keep doing it, hopefully, which is the purpose of this, to keep your ribbon from like flailing out all over creation. And this just slides over the edge, pops into the holes, and you can just pull your ribbon out like that, and it just slides around as you use it. How cool is that? Let me know what you think in the comments. And then I'll show you something else in a second. So let me tie my bow. I specifically left that one off so I could show that it's not like a piece of cake to get on. Threading things is never easy, is it? Alright, let's grab a glue dot here. Gonna have to have him make something for the glue dots too. See how I often tie a ribbon around. I often did that with my bows as well. And I'm gonna stick that right here. Now, I think that's gorgeous. Okay. Cool, I'm glad you guys are liking that. I had him make 3 different sizes because we have 1/2-inch ribbon, we have 1/4-inch ribbon, and an 1/8-inch ribbon. But typically, this is an 1/8 inch, but this is on a roll that's about the same size as the 1/4. So it had to fit the roll. And then he also made a 3/8. So an 1/8 and a 1/4 are similar, and then the 3/8 is, let me see if I can find a 3/8 here. There's a 3/8, and so it goes like that. Okay, so there are 3 different colors. Stay tuned, and I will let you know. Ladies at Retreat will get first dibs at these, and then I will put them online to order. Yeah, Debbie, now you don't have to make the paper ones. So here's my little basket. I just threw them in here. See how nice it holds the ribbon? It doesn't go flying everywhere. All right, I just had to give a little plug for that. And then I'm going to use this one. Okay, my other card is, oh, I wanted to tell you that the Easter that I used on the inside, the Easter greetings, is from Storybook Friends. How cool is that? Because I didn't have another Easter stamp. All right, so this is the other one. Now, my friend Laura Siki, I saw her design first. I almost wish I hadn't made this quite as tall, but I did it at 5.5 inches. And it's 4 1/4 wide, but there's a base piece and then there's this piece. Okay, so it's a faux sidestep card. It's not real just because we didn't do slices and things like that, which you could do that and save a lot of paper. But I do have all the measurements written for you, and I'm going to let me zoom in a little bit, and then maybe you can do a screenshot. Zoom. There we go. So the bottom base is this part here, 4 1/4 by 9, and then the upper base is this upper piece, and then the white pop-up is the part that I showed you how to do on here. Whoops, I'm so sorry. And it's a little different size because we had to make this narrower to fit on this base. Okay, so the white pop-up is 4 by 5 1/4, and it's scored 7/8 and 1 3/8 from either end. So it's scored, I think, almost the same. And then the white crossbeam is 3 1/4 by 1 1/4. the designer, the vellum I used was the floral and gingham vellum, which I used for here for the cross. And then the other designer paper is from the Floral Delight designer paper. So they coordinate with each other, but they're not the same. One's vellum and one is paper. Okay. And then I did a white back piece to be able to write on, just because it's not like, well, you could open this, but it's a little bit tricky. It's more like a stand than it is a card. So whichever, you don't have to put that on there. You can just write on the inside if you like to. Yeah, and then here's the paper sizes for the layers. And then for the front piece, I used Unbounded Love, the 2 dies from that. And then the little leaf design that goes with that. And of course, Faith is in that set as well. And then the little dots that I put here are ones I haven't touched in a while. They're called glossy dots, and they're so shiny. Like, can you just see the shimmer in them? They have like facets to them, even though they're completely round. It's like they have facets inside of them. I was thinking, since we added a bow to the other one, that it would be fun to add this ribbon that coordinates with this set to this card. So let's go ahead and do that. And let me grab one more glue dot here. This ribbon is so narrow that I'm just going to fold that glue dot over on itself. And I think I'll stick it on this side since my leaf is over there. Now you'll notice I didn't put anything in here, and you can see how sort of blank that looks. So I think if you're like me, you probably like this a little bit better because it looks more finished as a flat card as opposed to that. So you can always add a 3/8 inch piece in there, because this is also a 1/2 inch, so that it's not sticking out real far. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I hope that you guys can try that and have fun with those. And I will hopefully see you next week. Next week is the starting of my retreat week. Well, I mean packing. So if I don't make it, I will at least try to post something fun that I'm working on, okay? But I'll remind you if I'm coming live. All right, thank you so much. Thanks for joining me. Take care. Have a great week. God bless.